5, 6, 7, 8.
Totsy. You've been Totsy. It sounds like Yahtzee. Yahtzee.
That's a very different game.
Yeah, a very different game. With Yahtzee, you want a Yahtzee. With Totsy, you want to avoid Totsy. You don't want to get Totsy.
You don't want to get
You do want to get Yahtzee, I think.
Yeah, but not Yahtzeed.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is. Let's move on.
All right, here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Gilmore Revisited with Tara and Haley. I'm Tara. This is Haley. Hi, Haley.
Hi, Tara.
Should we do a Gilmore to say instead of a Gilmore Revisited? I know we're airing
You
this.
said that, and I was like,
I know, you gave me a look. You were like, oh, uh-oh. I don't know, because we are
I didn't know.
We're airing it on the podcast.
Yeah, we are.
I don't know.
Should we just keep everything that just happened? Confuse the lot?
Yeah, just confuse everybody. People are going to turn this on and be like, what?
Where are we? Who are these girls?
It is technically a Gilmore Revisited episode. We're just airing it on the podcast because it's a very important episode today. It is the Big Kahuna, the 100th episode.
It's the 100th episode.
We've got the blues.
We've got the wedding bell blues.
We got the blues. We got the blues. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it goes. That's how that wedding bell blues song goes.
Listen, I got to tell you something. I think this might be the best episode of Gilmore Girls. I watched this episode and I was like, jaw on the floor, forgot how good it was, because I've never watched it with the discerning eye that we watch this show with when we do Gilmore Revisited, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But before we get into the episode, we do have some business to tend to.
Oh, yeah.
For our besties, because we are dropping the tend to it, like a gardener. Okay, so we are dropping the coffee collection, or restocking today, with some new colors. We showed our Vicious Trollops who were here with us today, because we're recording this live with our Vicious Trollops tier. So this might go chaotically, but you'll never know because we'll edit it out. But we just showed it to them, and we've got some new colors like terracotta, blue jean. We've got our little summer lightweight sweatshirts. So if you live somewhere where it's not 100 degrees like I am, maybe you need a little summer sweatshirt in the evening. Or you have a little air conditioner, you like to be a little cozy, maybe it's for you. These are some of my favorite colors we've ever done.
Oh my God.
The coffee
Peachy.
collection.
I'm wearing Peachy right now. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, I'm wearing some of our merch that is dropping later this month, the Rewatch Club. But for now, don't look at it. I imagine just a bunch of coffee cups. And I'm wearing Peachy, which is a really great color. It's perfect for summer. It's kind of like that cuspiness that we talk about when it comes to Gilmore Girls episodes, of like being a summer cusp into fall. That's kind of how it feels. It's very peachy.
Yeah, it's our cusp collection, if you will.
Yeah. Oh, we should call
like
it
the
that.
blue jean.
Our cusp
The
cups.
blue jean and the terracotta kind of like do that too. Because it's just like, I'm going to pull it up if you're watching on YouTube. It's so pretty.
It's
the
beautiful.
Blue jean with like the green and the light blue here.
It's so
It just
good.
looks great.
I know.
Love it.
Loving it.
On GilmoreToSay.com today, you can head over to our Instagram story. I'm sure we've linked it there.
Yeah.
But if you're watching this after the fact, it'll also be in the show notes, so you can click right there. But yeah, I'm really excited. Everyone really likes the coffee collection, and
They do.
I'm excited we can bring it back for some limited restock.
Yes, we also restocked our can-shaped glasses that have the coffee cups all over them. Mine is actually in my living room, or else I would bring it out right now to show y'all, but it's very cute. I really love it. This time they have lids.
I know. The lid really got me. Something about the lid, a drink with a lid, because I can drink it in my bed.
And a straw. I think that's very exciting. Adds a little something extra to it. You know?
I love it, because I use mine all the time, but I try not to use it in my bed because spills. My bed's all white, so.
Oh,
now we got you a little lid.
Me too.
Like a little baby.
Yeah, exactly. So really excited. Again, head over to GilmoreToSay.com, or don't. Whatever you want to do.
That's how you
We're
sell it.
not here to tell you what to do.
Way to go, Tara. We're not here to tell you what to do. We've never wanted to tell you what to do. But if you want to, that's what you can do.
Yeah.
And get a can-shaped glass. Ding,
Yeah.
Ding. But back to the episode. We wanted to bring you the 100th episode because it just feels like such a monumental moment in
It's
Gilmore
such a
Girls.
milestone.
And in TV in general.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I guess aughts TV, because to reach the 100th episode usually meant that you could go into syndication, though a lot of like popular shows would before that, because it meant that they would have enough episodes of the show to run through syndication and make money that way.
Totally.
So it was a huge milestone to do that in TV. Now shows will never reach 100 episodes.
You said that in our Gilmore to Consider episode last week.
Did I?
Yeah, you were like 100 episode, which seems like something we're not going to hit in today's society. Listen, you know what I will say before we kind of really get into it? I've been having a lot of conversations with people in the television industry, and I'm actually very curious to hear Sheila's thoughts about this when we do our live event next month.
Oh my gosh,
because she's very immersed.
Yes.
I know. She's so immersed in this world, but I think now a lot of people are wondering if we are going to start going back to the format of kind of cable style television, because
like
streaming
television.
Yeah, because streaming services allowing you the space to have like a bingeable show is actually kind of destroying them because it's not keeping an audience engaged long enough to keep the lifespan of a show long, right?
It's like Bridgerton, where they like released it in 2 parts.
Yeah, they're starting to do that a lot on Netflix, and I feel like Brett and his roommate Stephen are watching House of the Dragon. They call it the Dragon Show. Yeah. It's the Game of Thrones show, and
the Dragon Show.
Yeah, he goes, "I'm going home to watch the Dragon Show," and that is every Sunday, and they release it 1 episode a week, and so I feel like it's a situation where that's how you keep your audience engaged. There's something very like there's like a ritualistic style to sitting down and watching a show. And I think that, I don't know, some people are predicting that we might be headed back there. And so I wonder if that is the case, if we will start to see shows hit 100 episodes again.
Maybe, because there'd have to be like 15 seasons of Bridgerton to get there.
Well, but think about it. I haven't watched seasons 2 or 3 of Bridgerton. I watched season 1 in 2021 when it came out. I remember being at home in Connecticut with my family, and they were like, you got to watch.
Oh, so good.
So good. They were like, you got to watch Bridgerton. And I was like, sure, I'll watch Bridgerton. And honestly,
welcome to the Bridgerton podcast.
I know, right? But by the time seasons 2 and 3 came out, honestly, I had fallen off because I didn't really care. It had been like, a year is passing in between these shows being produced because they're producing them with like all the episodes coming at you at once, which is not how television was done during this time when Amy Sherman-Palladino was producing Gilmore Girls. So everybody was really excited about this episode, I'm sure. And they only had to wait a week to get it. You know what I mean? Like, 100th episode, here we are. So I wonder if shows are going to actually start going back, or at least networks are going to start going back to releasing these and doling them out a little bit slower to keep their audiences invested longer.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about that is I say that I wouldn't do that. I mean, I don't watch a lot of TV as is, but I say I wouldn't do like appointment style television. But like when my podcasts that I listen to release weekly, I'm sad. I listen
100%.
So I don't know. Maybe I would.
Maybe. Who's to say?
Maybe.
But all of this is to say it was a very monumental episode for Gilmore Girls. Hitting 100 is very, very cool. And they celebrated it with, again, I'd argue, quite possibly the best episode of Gilmore Girls. It was written and directed by Amy Sherman-Palladino, and it shows. It's definitely in my top 5. Yeah. Yeah.
But I would say I think it is the best episode of the show.
Objectively, I think it is the best episode of the show. Like, I'm not talking favoritism at all. I just mean, I think this is the best episode of Gilmore Girls.
By the time I finished it in this rewatch of it and taking my notes, it went by so fast. And I was like, wait. Like, as we were like verging on like Rory and Logan kissing, spoiler, I was just like, what? No, I need more. I like, slow down, y'all. Like, but it was great.
I also think it's a massive turning point for the show. We've been building towards Lorelai and Luke. They finally get together. And she fucks it up. And we have this just like massive turning point.
Thoughts about that.
Okay.
I have some thoughts.
Okay. Well, let's get into
it. As we go into it. Let's do it. Yeah.
So this is season 5. Change your discs. We're on disc 4 in the box set. This is season 5.
If you've never been here, I guess for a Patreon episode, because this is going on, this is like how we do our Patreon style episodes. We always start with the DVD box set, of course. We read through, as you're about to hear, the chapter titles, the descriptions, we talk about how much we like it. I really am just telling you what's about to happen, but we do this for every single episode. And do people enjoy it? I don't know.
Who's to say? So this is season 5, episode 13, Wedding Bell Blues, written and directed by Amy Sherman Palladino. Its original air date was February 8th, 2005, and the box set description reads, "That whoosh you hear is the air rushing out of the Luke-Lorelai romance. Richard and Emily's elegant recommitment ceremony ends with Logan and Rory in... I've never seen this word in my life. Dishabille? Dishabille.
My brain couldn't process after D, actually.
Dishabille.
Sorry, I just played the pronunciation of it. Dishabille. I've seen it. I've never pronounced it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the state of being only partly or scantily clothed, which I would disagree with. They were both fully clothed. It's one of those things of like when you read a word, but you do not know how to say it, just kind of know it. But
Hannah,
I was
your
so
sister
shocked.
just gave us the definition in the chat as well. I love it.
Naturally. Hannah's nothing if not my little Googler girl.
Little Googler. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I feel like it was like, sound it out. Sound it out, Tara.
And you can't.
No, you can't. Dishabille. So
they got that thesaurus out.
Yeah.
Over there at the copyright team.
I love it. Richard and Emily's elegant recommitment ceremony ends with Logan and Rory in dishabille. That's it, right? Dishabille?
Mm-hmm.
People shouting and Luke gone. Ooh.
Can I ask you why they started with the end?
I don't know. Why do they ever start with the end? They love to give
like they were
shit
like
away
this episode ends with, and they literally said that in that. No, nothing has been as good as what was that one? The Snowfall. That one was really good, but this one just feels like they're revealing too much.
They're revealing way too much.
Just give us a little witty aside about the quick summary, but don't tell us what happens in it.
Yeah, well, Netflix is really leaving a lot up to the imagination. Lorelai and Rory throw Emily a party. Richard and Emily recommit to their marriage. Rory tells Logan what she wants from him. Quick and to the point. Lorelai and Rory throw Emily a party. I like it better than the
box set.
I kind of do too.
Just because it's not telling you everything that happens at the end.
That's very true.
It doesn't require any Googling.
Netflix wins this one just because they didn't give anything away.
I know. It's a rarity.
It's true.
These parts.
Okay. Chapter titles. Chapter 1, Morton Salt Girl, credits. 2, Bachelorette Party. 3, Not a Gardener. 4, Richard's name is Bill.
I like that.
5 is another word that I feel like I'm not going to be able to pronounce, and I feel like it's French. Vesivus. Vesuvius. Why was I in charge of reading this today?
Vesuvius?
Oh, it's Vesuvius, the volcano.
Yes. Cool. Is it capitalized?
It certainly is. Vesuvius.
Why didn't they put Mount in front of it?
I don't know. Do they usually?
Mount Vesuvius.
Oh, I thought it was just called Vesuvius, the volcano.
Yeah, Mount Vesuvius.
Oh my God, that has never ever taken me so long to get through
the
box set
description. That's what happens every time. If you've never
it's
been
a
with us
lie.
before,
Subscribe to Patreon and find out. It's a lie. Anyway, Vesuvius, I guess there is an eruption.
Yeah, like it's like a volcanic eruption.
That's the box set description. Here we go. You ready for the episode?
Lovely.
Buckle up, kids, because it's a fucking good one. This is a great episode. Yeah. I love it. So,
someone said earlier I have a nice voice for recorded greetings. So to that, I will say, fasten your seatbelts.
Fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. So the cold open is at Luke's. I love this opening shot over the town, and I love that they pan down. Like, it's so clear this is an Amy episode. It's so Gilmore Girls. Like, the music, oh my God, there are just so many moments in here that I'm like, that special touch has Amy Sherman Palladino written all over it.
Yeah. And I think this cold open, I was thinking about it, that like, it could have given more. It could have given more of like 100th episode vibes, but I felt like this was that. Like, it was just, this was all we needed. Just like this like moment at Luke's, her badgering him on the phone being grumbly, but still getting her boots.
Grumpy gills. I know. He still gets her boots.
Yeah.
Okay, before we talk about the boots, I have never noticed Lorelai's outfit in this scene. I love the jacket.
Biker jacket?
Oh my God, it's so cute. And I love her dragonfly t-shirt. Has a giant dragonfly on it.
I wonder if she got it as a gift, maybe.
It's so cute.
Oh my God,
I love
that's what we should have gotten for our photo shoot. It was a dragonfly tee.
There's still time.
There is still time.
There's still time. But it's so, so good. I have literally never remembered this outfit.
Never seen it? Yeah.
I feel like I've never
seen it. It's like
a
quick one.
Well, it's a
quick cold open.
But like, yes, but I love this cold open where she's like, give me the boots. I'll look like the Morton Salt girl. She's obsessed. They're just a pair of fisherman boots.
I know. Can I tell you, when she like she's like, ooh, catalog. Feel exactly the same. Like if there's like pictures and there's things for sale in it, I want to flip through it.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
there's always catalogs at my grandma's house, and she's always like, just flip through that, see if you want anything. Like,
yeah,
what could I possibly
boating equipment
want? What could I possibly want from this catalog? Ooh, like that's me
exactly.
constantly.
I also like to do it like aspirationally, like to get like a restoration hardware sort of, and you flipping through and like, a couch is $15,000, but you just want to look at it anyways.
Yeah, totally. Oh, I love it. It's so good.
Yeah.
So Luke is ordering boat parts because he is fixing up his dad's boat. Like that storyline is coming back around. He is going to be fixing up his dad's boat.
I like the reminding of it because it's gonna fuck us up. It's gonna
play a bit of a part. I just love that she desperately wants the boots because they're yellow.
Yeah.
So he orders them for her. Everything else is going to be back ordered. And then he tells her that he's going to come over and work on the boat later in the evening.
Yeah. And the boots will be here on Tuesday.
Boots will be here
on Tuesday. And
he
gives her a cup of coffee.
I know. Coffee cup, number one. What's interesting about this scene is they're talking about how the vow renewal is the next day. And, Lorelai tells him about them doing a Cop Rock marathon, which Cop Rock is an American police procedural musical television series. They only have 11 episodes.
I had never known that.
Yeah, I know. Me either.
I did not know that it was a musical.
Me either.
Do you know?
It only had 11 episodes.
I know. Randy Newman did the music.
Did he really?
Yeah. I was shocked.
Oh my God.
He was one of the composers.
Wow.
But what killed me is on Google, it gave you like 3 words, like in a nutshell. Mm-hmm. It was humorous, spirited, and bizarre.
I love that. That's probably what it says like on, how on Netflix they give the 3 descriptions?
Yeah, that's the vibe it was giving.
Yeah,
like in a nutshell. And I was just like, wow, there's just funny. Like singing cops fighting crime and crime, drugs, and racism.
But that feels so Amy. That feels like something she would 1000% put on tape.
Like this 11 episode show. Yeah.
Like she binge watches that the way that we binge watch Gilmore Girls. I love that.
Yeah.
But that's what the plan is for. I hope so. That's the plan for Rory and Lorelai in the evening, and that's when Luke is going to come over. But what's interesting is he then like pleads with her to not make him go to this vow renewal.
Yeah.
And when in the last episode,
how to fling yourself down the stairs just hard enough is one of those things that like loops in my mind all the time.
I love it. There's something else that loops in my mind here that Rory says. But what's very interesting is that I felt like in the last episode in Come Home, she was basically giving him an out. Like, you don't have to come. And he was like, no, I will be there.
Yeah. Well, when they were laying in bed.
Yeah. I just find the change in demeanor very interesting.
It seems like he's like naturally going to go. He's going to fight against it no matter what happens. Because she was like, you do not have to go.
Yeah. He's like,
fine, I'll go. Yeah.
I love it.
He was always going to go. He'll do anything she says. True. Especially when she puts the boots on.
That's very true.
That's what gets him. Rubber boots, yellow rubber boots.
We've all got our vices, man. I don't know.
We have found Luke's.
So you know what I find interesting is that I, of course, Googled the shit out of this episode because it was so important. And there was an interview that Amy did at the Television Critics Association panel in early 2005, right as this episode was airing, where she talked about this episode. And this is where we find out that the location that they do the vow renewal at is where Amy and Dan got married, which I find so special. It's also where they shot Rory's Dance back in season 1. So
at Chilton, yes.
And but the thing that really stuck out to me was that this episode cost them a lot of money to film, of course, because they were off location. They were going to this very big, fancy building. And I wonder if, because these next few scenes take place at Lorelai's house, if you notice, we don't leave Lorelai's house for a very, very long time in this, like the first half of this episode.
Yeah. It's kind of like 2 locations here.
Yeah. And I remember in an episode of Friends, it was in season 3. And interestingly, the show was doing very, very well at this time. But they were like very deep in the trenches budget wise for some reason. I don't know if there was something going on with the network at the time, but they basically said to them, like, we need to cut costs. And they shot an entire episode in.
Oh, what's that called?
It's what, the episode? What's
no,
the episode
it's
called?
when they don't leave a location, and it's like just in the, it's like a box episode or something like that, where they just stay where they're at.
Yeah, maybe it is called a box episode. Yeah, that's basically,
it's something like that. Yeah,
that's basically what they did, and it was just a single location, and they literally filmed an entire episode in one spot. And so it made me think of this. It's called a bottle episode.
Bottle episode. Yes.
Thank you.
Not a box. I was
thank
close.
You to our besties at home. So that,
gosh,
I wonder if it was like kind of a bottle episode solely because they had like a huge budget to do this wedding scene. And the rest of it takes place at Lorelai's, which I find very fascinating, with the exception of the cold open.
That's the question, though. I mean, I guess it's a lot of money to move everything around and that sort of thing. Because I guess if you're on the lot, it's a lot cheaper than going off location. Mm-hmm. But I guess if you have to switch
this is totally this is me speculating. I have no idea.
Yeah.
They didn't say this in the article, nothing. But she... Oh, we got cats. We got tats. Oh, we got tots. They've got tots. They've got Pop-Tarts. They have pancakes. They have mini donuts. Rory starts sprinkling something on top. I couldn't tell if they were mini marshmallows. What are they?
Oh, I think that's what it is. Yeah, because she does syrup. And then I think she does little something candy, something marshmallow, something.
Yeah. I don't know how these two don't have diabetes. I really don't. I'm very confused.
Mine is, I don't understand how their stomachs are not upset all the time.
Yeah.
Every day.
All the time. My tummy would hurt constantly.
My tummy would hurt so bad.
I love Lorelai's pink tea here. I feel like we should do something with that, make it into merch. It's very cute. I love that it's like hot pink. It's got, I don't know what's on it. I don't know what it says, but I want to know.
I don't know. Part of me, I was like, should we do this look for our photo shoot? Like the pink shirt,
Rory's the white t-shirt underneath it?
Yeah. So 2000s. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they just get Luke an extension cord and a little banter, and then he's back to building the boat.
He is back to building that boat.
Or fixing it up. He guess it's already built. But they go over to their Cop Rock marathon. Let's Cop Rock, they say.
Let's Cop Rock.
But the phone rings.
And it's Emily. Her dress is falling apart and she's coming over.
Oh my God.
Her dress is falling apart.
We gotta help her.
But this is when we get the classic line. When a woman gives birth to a crack baby, you do not buy her a puppy.
Love it. One of my favorite lines Emily has ever said. And I don't know why. It's probably offensive in some way, but I
don't get it at all. But it's so funny.
Yeah. I don't really grasp it either. My only thing is like, I imagine like a crack baby, which is probably not a good term to use, is like a mother who's been using drugs.
Yes.
And gives birth to a crack baby. You wouldn't want her to have something else to take care of. So you don't buy her a puppy, or you don't celebrate her as a result. I don't know. If you know what that means, please explain it in your own words.
Genuinely, I was
like, write in.
I don't get it, but it's a hilarious line.
It's such a it's great. Love it, Emily. Great job.
So good.
But she's coming over. They gotta help her. Lorelai's gotta help her out. Little seamstress.
Yeah.
And do you notice that Rory and Lorelai, whenever they're sitting on the couch, they're sitting on top of each other?
Yeah. Oh,
there's
right
no space between them. Yeah. Jesus has to sit next to them. He cannot. No space.
No space. No room for Jesus.
Yeah, they're just like always on, like right on top of each other. But they're disappointed because they're only going to make it through one course, but they can't get to the tater tots or the pizza tower. I'm very interested in what a pizza tower is, but that never manifests in any way. It seems like this is like pizza rolls, bagel bites, maybe like stacked up, that sort of thing. Or do you think it's pizza that's like kind of been shaped into a tower? Because pizzas are kind of like pyramid shaped. We could like recreate the pyramids with some pizza.
That's true.
But then it'd be a pizza pyramid.
I wish you ate pizza because last night, so I mentioned this in last week's episode, which airs at this point when we're recording it tomorrow, but a lot of our Vicious Trollops may have already listened to it, that Nancy, Brett's mom, and her husband Tim were here. And so we took them out to dinner last night at a restaurant called Parla. It's on 75th and 75th and Columbus. It's amazing. They have fantastic Italian food, but they are known for their pizza. And it's very good. And I really wish that you liked pizza, but
I like crust and sauce and pepperonis.
Oh, okay. So we had, it was like this focaccia crust. Oh, it's like like a square pizza.
Yeah.
And so it had red sauce. I believe it had burrata cheese, hot honey, pepperoni. It's in the shape of a square and it's very like thick. It's dense, like because the bread is so good, but like not in an overwhelming way, like not in a soggy way. Anyway, I think that if you took that because it's so sturdy and stacked the pizza like square shaped,
architecturally it would be
that would make a really good tower.
Yeah, I didn't know where you were going with that, but I was like, oh my God.
You're like, I don't know where this conversation is going. But it was all about the architectural structure of the tower.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm thinking like if you got pizza rolls, that would fall over. You gotta clop them.
Well, it might be like a Jenga board, you know? Like, yeah, you could get pizza rolls, but you could do like 4 on the bottom like and then keep stacking.
And then you try and pull them out without knocking the pizza tower.
You know what else? Did you ever have Elio's pizza? They're like pizza squares, almost frozen pizza. Obviously, you didn't have them because you are lactose intolerant. But there's this thing called Elio's pizza, and they're little frozen pizzas. They're about this big, and they're rectangles. And I think if you did that, probably would also be a pizza tower.
This is what this podcast is about.
Anyway,
the reality of the girls' eatings. But I was just disappointed not to hear it. But they can't have it because they're gonna have to do it in two parts rather for the night. Because Emily's gonna come over, they're gonna rush her through, and then they're gonna get her out so they can finish their Cop Rock marathon, have their tater tots and their pizza tower, and it's a perfect plan.
Perfect plan. Emily shows up. Luke is sanding his boat. And she comes over
jump scare
and stares at him as if he's committing a murder.
Yeah.
She is looking at him as if this man is like doing something like brutally offensive.
Yeah, she's caught Joe and you in the midst of a murder.
Oh my God. It was very weird.
Not a man standing.
It just switches so quick. And I have something to say about that later on, that like the demeanor of Emily towards Luke. I know that she wasn't necessarily fond of the two of them dating. And I brought this up when the two of them, you know, when they have that dinner and Luke goes over to her house and it's like, would you like another beer, Luke? But
yes, infamous.
It's just so funny that like for so long she kind of like, I don't want to say she shipped them, but she would always be like, oh, well, you're probably going to marry Luke.
She
and now
anticipated them. Yeah.
Yes. And now that it's actually happened and she's dating Luke and getting closer to marrying him, all of a sudden, not only has it switched up that she like needs Christopher to now step in, but now she is also being like rude to Luke. Because before she was being nice to him, it was fake. But now she's just being outright rude to him.
Yeah. Much like a pizza roll tower, the foundation of this storyline could crumble pretty easily under heavy scrutiny, which is what we're here to do.
Hey, came to the right place.
I do feel like she made like a quick shift, especially from the last episode where she went to Chris. I feel like that whole storyline with that is like a really quick shift.
I know it's juicy, but it really is just kind of like out of pocket given the relationship that she wants to maintain with Lorelai.
But yeah, she scares him. He's doing a thing and she just kind of hovers.
Oh my God, she scared the shit out of him. She scared the shit out of me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's just glaring at him.
She seems like a man working on his vehicle. His mode of transportation is foreign to her. As if that's not what her husband does.
Well, I kind of wish that Luke had said something to her like, this was my dad's boat. And, you know, he never got to finish it.
I probably would have like
died.
I don't know that would have endeared. Her to him. Probably been like, oh, old boat. It'll float. True. He promises.
I know. But he says, congratulations. Yeah. On what? On what?
Oh, but the way he says, your thing tomorrow.
Oh my God, he has no idea what he's saying. You congratulate the groom and offer the bride best wishes. I never ever knew that, but I always think of that now. After watching.
Is that true?
I have no idea if that's
They've
true.
Never lied on television, so it must be.
Oh, that's true. Especially in the show. I feel like Emily just kind of, I don't know, maybe she didn't make it up. She is the queen of etiquette. Somebody in the comments can tell us. But I feel like it's something that I never ever thought of until like obviously watching the show. And now I don't, like I always say congratulations to people who've just gotten married. No one's ever been the wiser. No one's ever been like, that's wrong.
I don't think I've ever spoken to someone who got married that wasn't like a person who was I was very familiar with and couldn't be like, oh my gosh, yay! You know?
Yeah.
I've never been to like a formally invited to a wedding of someone that I don't know that well.
It's just like, it almost sounds like, it's almost the difference between wishing someone good luck on Broadway and saying break a leg. Like good luck apparently is bad luck, but break a leg is really what you should be saying. And it feels like this is kind of the same thing. She's like, well, you don't congratulate the bride. You offer best man.
Yeah.
So what I find hilarious mostly about this is that like she's looking at him with such disdain. You would never catch Christopher doing any labor whatsoever. This man is so hardworking. He's literally sanding a boat. He's building a fucking boat. Christopher could never.
He actually wouldn't know how.
Never. I don't think that
he
man's
smells
built
like a
anything in
twig.
his entire life.
Except a lot of problems for other people.
He has. It's true.
But now that he knows that that's the case, the way that Emily just like dead eye stares at him, no expression to her, like no movement in her face. Just like
she's really
anticipating.
Into this. She really is.
And he says best wishes, and she's like, thanks. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for saying that. I don't know what made you do that.
Crazy. Anyway, so Emily goes inside and she's like, look at this. And Lorelai's like, what the fuck am I looking at? Because 3 beads are out of place. She's like, oh, great. Okay, it'll be done in 5
How could have I missed
10
this?
minutes tops. And she is panicked because Emily
30
is
seconds.
Like taking her jacket off. She's like, nope, don't take your jacket off.
In.
Oh my God, she is nestling in for the night and she goes to get a drink from the fridge. I don't know if you'll remember this. I don't know if our besties will remember this. They probably will. When Lorelai says to Rory, like, stop her from going to get a drink, and she's like, how? She says, show her Nick Nolte's mugshot. Did we have this reference already? I remember vividly Googling Nick Nolte's mugshot and being like, it looked familiar. I feel like this reference has happened already.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we've Googled Nick Nolte's Nick
Nolte.
Nolte? Yeah. I'm pretty sure we've Googled his mugshot live on Patreon before.
I remember looking at it and I was like, I've seen this before. It's pretty brutal.
Not live in this setting, live between the two of us.
Yeah.
In the middle of recording.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I feel like I feel like I have Googled this man's mugshot twice now. Oh, Jason, she is scarier than Nick Nolte's mugshot. Miss Mary just told us. That's a Jason. Yes.
Mary. Yes. Looking at his mugshot, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I've seen this before.
1000% I've seen this before. And not because I just stumbled upon it. I definitely sought this out because of this show. I remember Jason saying that. Now it's stuck in my brain. So this is definitely an Amyism.
She probably got it printed out at her home. It's framed.
True. So in the midst of all of this, Richard calls. He's having the time of his life at a bachelor party with a ton of men I've never seen before in my life. And he wants to know
I don't think he's ever seen them.
It's true. And he wants to know how their little gathering is going. Uh-oh. I get it. I understand. I mean, like, these two are literally acting like they've never been married before. And it's so funny. They just got together approximately 5 minutes ago. But they're acting like they've never been married before. And it's hilarious. So there's an insinuation, an implication that Lorelai is throwing Emily a bachelorette party.
Yeah.
Do you think she actually thought that Lorelai was going to throw her a bachelorette party? Or do you think she just like... Richard was out doing his thing, so she was like, I am literally going to go spend time with the girls.
Yeah. I love when he says the girls. Like the way that he says girls.
The girls, yeah.
But I don't think that Emily went over with the intention of having Lorelai throw her a bachelorette party, but I do think she went over with the intention of like spending time with them and maybe let Richard come to his own conclusion, and maybe via doing that led her to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Like I think they kind of like helped each other.
I'm a very brilliant man, Lorelai. I'm like, I don't know if you are. I don't know. I don't
know if that's why. Like it could
yes,
be true,
you are, but
I don't think this is the instance to reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is when he tells her, don't mix her alcohol. If she has too much vodka, she forgets and moves on to gin. He's an excellent drunk.
Yeah. Yeah. He takes care of her. He knows what she needs.
It's true.
Don't worry, she's going to drink rum, so it doesn't matter.
Well, she's going to drink a lot of something. But he says, have a scandalous time, and I'll see you tomorrow. So I understand why Lorelai probably did not think that she was supposed to do this. But
yeah.
Boy, does she rally the troops.
It made me really sad, though, I will say, that, like, Richard was having all these guys throw him this, like, bachelor party. Confused that some of Emily's pals didn't throw her a bachelorette party, and then the girls were, like, expected to go to it or something like that. Because it just seemed interesting that it was on the girls, as Richard says, to do it. But it was just like one of those things of like, it is the night before her like wedding and she wants to spend it with someone. It seems like she's got all these nerves.
Yeah, she has all these nerves. She's very nervous. But yeah, I don't know that Emily necessarily, it's interesting because we always hear about Emily's friends, but we don't really see them. Like in the early seasons, we saw Natalie and we saw like,
where's Natalie? I love her.
Natalie. But like we see a couple people and like the ladies at the DAR, but nothing, concrete. I think this was really perfect that not only does she crash their Cop Rock marathon, but then Lorelai makes like a makeshift bachelorette party by inviting like all of her girlfriends in town over. I mean, like, this is fucking brilliant. When she opens the door and Suki is barely eyes open, but she has an entire platter of pot stickers, I'm obsessed.
What a queen.
What a queen.
That's what I needed.
That's a good friend who will just come over and she's like, I just got my baby to sleep, but it doesn't matter. I will be over there for my friend, even if my eyes are half open. Like, the fact that Gypsy shows up, this is my favorite part. Hi, Gypsy.
Who's Emily?
Who's Emily? Great. Who's Emily? It really gets me.
Love it.
Look, everyone,
she's just
Gypsy.
Like, I love a party.
Look, everybody, Gypsy's here. Gypsy. Oh my God. And then like Gypsy becomes Emily's favorite lady of the night.
Best friend.
Besties. But I love that Babette is there. Patty's there. Lane is there. Keon's there. I love this bachelorette party.
Yeah,
I love it so much.
I love when Babette says something along the lines of like, you seem like a fancy lady, but you're just a broad. Mm-hmm. And she turns to Gypsy. Did you hear that? I'm a broad.
It's I just love so it. Good. This is the perfect crowd, and honestly, exactly who I would want at my bachelorette party. I know Patty and Babette at my bachelorette party, bar none. Oh my god!
Yeah, Keon asking why.
I was going to say, speaking of people who are there, Keon has no idea A, what she's doing there, and B, what everybody else is doing there. She's like, but why?
To be fair, most people don't know why they're there, but she's true. Just the only one who's like really willing to
ask the question.
Yeah, because Gypsy doesn't know.
No, absolutely not. But what I find hilarious about this is that most of the people who are at this bachelorette party are not going to the wedding.
None of them.
Patty's like, so tell me about what your wedding's like tomorrow. But that's why I find it so sweet. It's like they'll show up, and they really show up for Lorelai, of course. But like they're like, yeah party, coming in, let's go, let's do it. It's lovely.
When she says she's so entertaining, I never know what she's saying. She's so entertaining, like a chimp.
Please make your mother stop talking to me.
If only I could. And then she's talking about her wedding. Babette says, that ain't no toilet bowl.
That ain't no toilet bowl. Yeah, and this is when she talks about how their wedding venue was booked 2 years in advance, and they got those people kicked out. Interesting. That comes back around in conversation in a little bit.
It does indeed.
But Suki says we should play some fun party games. Or just like have some fun gifts. And Lorelai knows exactly what to pull out, which is something that Suki gave her. And I wonder if she gave her that, I'm assuming, phallic shaped pasta for her wedding.
In Hammers and Veils.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, in Red Light on the wedding night, but yeah.
Oh, yes. I was just thinking, I guess you don't give that to someone at their wedding shower. That'd be a bit,
maybe
bit much.
I don't know.
I don't know. I've never had one.
Oh, it was so good. She's like, you got
I'll give
me
it
this.
to you at your wedding shower.
Oh my god. Oh, you will?
Yeah.
Great. Can't wait.
But I just love as Lorelai's walking away, she goes, Gypsy, where's she going?
Oh my god. 2 peas in a pod.
It's her emotional support, Gypsy.
Here's the thing though. I really wish that we could have heard about Emily's first bachelorette party. Either in this episode or in Red Light on the wedding night. We never really hear. I don't know, but we never really hear about anything. Like, we do hear about like how Emily felt before her wedding in Red Light on the wedding night, but we don't really hear like, oh, this is so much better than my original bachelorette party. Like, these girls that I'm not even friends with anymore. Like, something like that I think would have been really interesting to hear at this time, because I don't know, I love when Emily gets like very introspective and kind of starts to like the way, like the endearingness of what she shares at Lorelai's bachelorette party. Now, granted, she was not punch drunk in the way that she is currently.
Yeah.
But
it also reminds me of a couple episodes ago when she was getting ready for her date with Simon McLean, and she was like, if I would have known how this is going, I would have eaten my salad at the wedding. But she was too nervous to eat all day.
Yeah.
And that's where she's at now, or later. But she's just so frantic, so nervous. And that's why Lorelai is like, why? This isn't even real.
I know.
Which it's like fair, but it's like everything is so last minute. But I kind of wish she would have differentiated between she was nervous about the event, which it kind of seemed like she was, but not nervous about the
actually marrying
vow renewal part of it. Yeah. Because I kind of liked hearing about how nervous she was before her first wedding and then the renewal.
Yeah.
I would have liked some sort of true juxtaposition between that. Rather than, I guess, like a parallel moment.
Yeah.
But
totally.
she is, I can't tell if she's like thrilled by the pasta, the penis shaped pasta, or like repulsed.
Oh, I think
but she drops it and screams.
Oh my gosh, she's so funny. I love it. Emily Gilmore.
I just love it.
She's so cute. So the scene cuts.
How do you think she got home? Yeah, because the scene cuts and everyone's asleep,
including her. She's upstairs,
and that's why I'm like Kitty pillow.
Exactly, because by the time they leave the next morning at 10:35, she's gone.
She's gone. So, where did Rory sleep? Patty's in her bed.
I don't know.
Babette's on the couch.
I know. I don't know.
Where'd those girls sleep? No wonder they were late.
Anyway, so Lorelai takes the seating chart out of Emily's bag and she is like, I don't know. I'm drunk. I don't know what I'm doing. She heads into the kitchen. Oh my God. I would be so mad if someone did that to me.
Well, that's the thing is like, what's so interesting here about Lorelai is that she's talking about how terrible rich people are and how she's kind of doing this to kind of like mess with them in their event. But she's talking about how selfish they are, like in Death Brigade event. But then she gets to the next day and she is the cause of someone being fired and doesn't speak up to it. Wasn't like, oh, I did that. You don't need to fire this woman. And so it's like, it's this weird thing of like, you can do it whatever you want because you think it's fun and funny, but it's also really selfish.
There's a lot of hypocrisy.
100%.
Lorelai's end. I mean, we all know that, but that's a good episode title, The Hypocrisy of Lorelai Gilmore.
Truly.
Because there is a lot of that in there. She doesn't realize what she's doing sometimes, I think. But as she's doing it, Rory says something that runs on a loop in my mind. You're mean. I love the way she says that. You're mean. I say that a lot.
It's just like a cutie little thing that she does. There's other times when she says that.
Poor Bunny.
I can think of like that voice, but you're mean.
You're mean.
Love it.
Poor Bunny.
But
yeah,
but then it comes back around and she does think she's mean because she says just because you have money doesn't automatically make you a jerk.
Oh, she gets very offended. She gets very offended.
Yeah, because she saw Logan's name on the seating chart.
Yeah, she did, next to Mitchum Huntsberger.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Right there.
Yeah, you know, I find this conversation fascinating. What's interesting to me, especially given where we are at the end of the episode when Lorelai walks in and sees Rory and Logan macking it, is that she's like, you must be Logan. Whereas there's not a lot of conversation or chatter about Logan between the party's over and, or maybe the episode after that, maybe it's Emily says hello and this episode. Like anytime that she mentions like, oh, is it a boy thing? Like in Come Home.
Yeah, they mention him in Pushkin because of Anna.
Yes.
Right? That's what it is?
It might be.
Because making connections.
Yes, I think it's mentioned at the beginning of the episode. Because later in that episode, we were talking about how her energy towards Logan kind of shifts. And Lorelai's like, who's Logan? Is he cute? I don't want ugly grandchildren.
Yeah.
But I find it interesting that Lorelai didn't see Logan's name on the seating chart and say something. Like, oh, is that the guy? Is that guy? Yeah. You know what I mean? Very interesting.
And like switch him up. Put him next to her.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, a lot of people in the chat are saying is that like she wasn't willing to take responsibility for it. And I think that that's what would differentiate maybe the people that she's talking about who like get away with things because daddy's important. Whereas like she was getting away with it because her mom was willing to like look at it that was someone else when it was her. So all she had to do was take responsibility. I feel like that's that moment where it's just this whole hypocritical, contradictory moment where she is fucking something up for someone else. And she's like, everyone else is selfish.
I know.
Like, I know. While we're also getting this like undertone of Logan and getting thoughts on the article. And
yes. Whatnot. And I think the reason that this comes up is because Rory is really kind of sad about the way that Emily and Richard went about getting this room. And Lorelai's like, why are you surprised? This is who they are. You should know better than anybody.
Those other people will kick someone else out.
Yeah, this is how they operate. This is how they are. And yeah, I mean, I think that it's sometimes comparing apples and oranges when it comes to Lorelai, because I do think that I don't think she would ever do that to somebody else. Like what Richard and Emily did to these people, I don't think Lorelai would ever personally do that to somebody else. But I do think that if someone else did it on her behalf and like maybe she didn't know about it or whatever, I don't think that she would necessarily feel guilty. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think so either. Yeah. As long as it's not her doing it directly. I think she's willing to benefit from things like that. But
yes, that's really
just like a very interesting little moment, especially because like they get into it and they're like, change of topic.
Oh, like, yes, 100%. I love that she ends it by being like, hey, do you think that they'll notice if they're not sitting at the same table?
Yeah.
Like, okay, too far.
Yeah.
So it's the next morning. It's 10:35. The girlies are not ready. I love that this entire scene takes place with the two of them in separate rooms. It's
just
an
like
empty
camera
house.
in the corner.
Camera in the corner. I love it. Luke knocks. He comes in. He does look really nice. I love that that's kind of the mantra of the scene.
You look nice.
You look nice. He's like,
it's really like the compliment of the show is you look nice is always the one.
Yeah. You look nice. It's very sweet.
Nice.
He's wearing his gloves. He's got his leather gloves.
It's cold.
So
it's
fun.
February.
It is February.
He's the only one that's really dressed for the weather. But I guess they are both bundled up. But this run that they do from the living room to the door.
Classic.
I've always loved it. It's
so
also one of those promo scenes.
It is.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was always pulled. So I love seeing that. I love Rory's little run.
She's so cute with her hair bouncing.
Yeah.
So cute.
And then Babette, lock up on your way out.
Oh my God.
She just shoots
funny.
up from the couch.
Scares the shit out of Luke. He's like, oh, yeah. Okay. There are people
He keeps getting scared in this episode.
I know, poor thing. He keeps getting spooked. He's about to get spooked again by the ghost of Christopher Hayden.
He's not a ghost. He's a villain.
Unfortunately, yeah. He is still very much
Vesuvius.
Vesuvius. Vesuve. Me like, is it French?
That's gonna go down in history, podcast history. That'll be the word on our next episode. Vesuve.
Vesuvius.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Ding dong.
Vesuve. I have a really hard time when people are spelling things at me saying it. So
I'm a visual person, 100%. You were like, Vis.
I was like, that says Vesuvius as we were getting closer and closer to the end. But anyway, we go to the venue. Anyway. They're there. Yeah. And my favorite thing about this is that when we see Emily and Richard, Luke's like, because the whole thing is Luke didn't realize you could change there. Yeah. And he walks up and he's like, oh, they're changing here. And it's...
they're changing here too. Like, yeah, of course they are.
But it's the thing that gets me is Richard is that he's wearing what he's going to wear later, but in a different color. Mm-hmm. Like he's got his bow tie on. He's in a suit. But he's like, ready. You're going to be in this outfit, but black later. Yeah, it's true. In a tuxedo. But it's like he really only like just changes the color palette of what he wears. So it's like, this is it. Why don't you wear your cozy clothes, buddy?
Yeah.
I guess this is his cozy clothes.
I think that for Richard, these are the cozy clothes. Yeah. But Luke is all put out because his pants are all wrinkled from the ride. He looks like he just rolled out of bed.
Yeah.
Which is so funny.
But when Richard said his tailor could steam them, she's like, that's not what he's wearing to the ceremony. Ha, 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 ha. And like, Richard's like, oops.
After they were like, oh, Luke, you're here. I was like, okay.
When she says that, oh, Luke, you're here.
Why,
or
Luke?
Hello? What happened to hello? How are you?
Yeah.
How's
Best
your boat?
wishes. Oh my God.
Best wishes. Congratulations on your boat.
Yeah.
But
crazy.
But this is where she finds out that the wedding planner was fired.
Yes.
Per her mistake. And you're like, Lorelai.
And just says nothing.
Lorelai.
I know.
And Emily, and not Emily, Rory says you're going to hell, basically.
Yeah. No, a special ring of hell for that.
Yeah. 100%.
But who's going to run the wedding?
I don't think there's special places in hell. I think they all just throw them in there. It's kind of worse.
True. That's fair.
But who is going to run the wedding?
Cousin Marilyn.
Of course, Cousin Marilyn. I'm so glad she showed up in this episode.
Oh, she's very funny.
Like,
she has some of my favorite lines in this
much.
episode.
Yeah.
I know this is the last time we're going to see her. We're never going to see Cousin Marilyn again. We only get her for 2 episodes. I will say when we watched The Reigning Lorelai, Brett saw her and was like, what is she doing here? And I was like, I don't know, man. He's like, this is a different weird choice. And I was like, I don't know.
They're
really
no,
like
it's
her.
A good choice.
They really like her.
We love her.
But when she meets Luke, this is every like older woman in my life who meets Brett. I'll be like, this is Brett. And they're like, oh.
Are you a gardener?
Hello. Are you a gardener? And I'm like, get off of him. No, he's not a gardener.
Could be.
Every like middle-aged woman in my life who meets Brett is like, oh.
He's also just so polite when you meet him.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like, isn't that like, oh my.
Oh my.
A Southern man.
A Southern man. Because that's the thing is that like, Brett's got his little New Orleans accent. He's like, hey, darling, how you doing? And I'm like,
yeah,
well.
And he says ma'am, which my mom noted.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, no, he's very polite. He's a very polite. His mama raised him right. But I love that he turns on the charm. And I mean, that's just who he is very naturally.
Yeah.
He's very good with people.
Oh, the grandma at the end of Mulan. Can we keep him forever?
That's very much that. Anyway, I digress. She pulls Lorelai aside and she says, "See a gardener?" Apparently it's very in to have an affair with a gardener right now.
I could see it.
Sure.
Why not?
Yeah. Why not? So Emily and Richard part ways, and I love the way that they leave each other. It's very sweet.
Yeah. I will say one of the lines here that Lorelai, when Richard is showing her the necklaces of which one to give to Emily, when he says focus and she says, I am a camera.
I wrote that down too. I love that line.
It took me so long to understand it, but once it clicked for me, I was focused. That is one of my favorite lines. Focus. I am a camera.
It's
like, oh my God. So good.
Good. So he gives her very specific instructions to give Emily, like to hold both of these necklaces up to Emily's dress when she's not looking and choose one and give him back the other. Give him both of them back, but he's going to give her one. And I love that when she goes into the dressing room, she goes, which one?
I do that too. Like if my dad has said, like, don't tell your mom.
Oh my God.
I'm
so
like,
sweet.
Which one of these? Yeah. This is what he was like, don't show this to your mom. And I'm like, hey, this is what dad texted me.
Yeah.
Which one do you want?
Secrets. This one. That one for my birthday. Because I want her to get
what she wants.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. 100%.
But before they leave, it's Luke and Richard sitting there, and Luke is like rubbing his pants down to try and get the wrinkles out. Let Richard looks at him like Richard's so embarrassed to have witnessed this.
Oh my God. Anyway, so I love that when Lorelai says, you know, here, choose, and Emily says something to the effect of, it's very important to choose a man who can pick out your jewelry. And she says it to Rory. I thought to myself, or your dress size.
I was going to say that too. Or your ball gowns.
Or your ball gowns. Yeah.
Yeah. But I love that when Emily says, why am I doing this? And Lorelai holds up the necklace and she goes, oh, it is gorgeous. Like, that's why you should renew your vows.
Yeah.
For diamond necklaces.
Good. It's good. So they kind of get into the conversation about how nervous she is and like.
Yeah. Take a second all.
Yeah, genuinely. But she says she's so nervous she hasn't eaten. And I'm like, why, babe? Did you not learn the first time? You literally said a few episodes ago, had you known how this was going to go, you would have eaten your salad. Eat.
Yeah.
Eat.
I kind of wish they would have shown her at the ceremony reception. Not the ceremony. That would have been weird. Reception eating a salad.
Yeah.
And kind of just like
a little nod.
Chilled.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Just a little cutie little remembrance of a previous combo. But she asks Lorelai here a very deep question of like, she's like, I like love having a partner. I missed him so much. Do you ever think about getting married? And she was like, actually, I do. And then Emily says, well, that's nice.
I know.
What? What did she want her to say?
I know. It's like almost like
Was she about to convince her?
Well, I think she almost got caught up in the moment so much only to realize that the person that Lorelai wants to marry is someone who Emily doesn't believe is suited for her. It was so gross. Yeah. Well, that's nice. I was like.
Yeah, it kind of felt like she was like, she had a monologue prepared for her to say no. Like, I don't know. And she had like a whole speech prepared and she was like, yeah, I do. She was like, oh, well, it's going to make my plan really weird later. It's going to make me the villain, it seems like.
Oh my God.
And it does.
But in that moment, Rory comes out. She looks so cute.
Yeah.
She looks so cute. She looks very dashing.
Yeah.
I love that Lorelai's like, she gets to wear a costume. Can I be a maid? I get to wear flats.
Yeah, it'll be whimsical and I could wear flats. The way that she delivers a lot of lines in this episode, I don't know if it's because I've watched it so many times, because like the moment Moon River starts playing, I had this like full body experience of like watching this episode on repeat.
Yeah.
But I think it's just like so ingrained in my mind, just like the cadence of a lot of the lines and like the delivery and just like when she goes up or down at the end of things, it just sounds so like my teenage years.
Yeah,
it's like
cozy.
This is like the soundtrack to it almost. Totally. So when she says it,
100%.
Whimsical and I'll wear flats, I was like, oh,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Childhood.
I love it. I love it so much. Anyway, so this is when we get to the wedding. I love the idea that Amy and Dan got married here. I think that's so special.
I know.
That's
it's such a beautiful
special.
thought. Yeah.
I know. It's so cool.
I want to know what it looked like.
I know. I really do wish that we were able to kind of get more. They're very private about their lives. When we were doing research about Amy and Dan and their wedding, I even today just like Googled like Amy and Dan wedding because I wanted to see, and they were very private about it. Or
did you
it was
put
also
their last name in?
Yeah, of course, not just Amy and Dan wedding.
Amy and Dan wedding.
So many things are gonna come up, but I do think that also, at the time it was, I imagine, in like the 90s, and so. I don't know that they're
a picture in.
I was gonna say I don't know how much documentation. Whereas like today, you Google someone's wedding, it's all over Instagram or the Knot or whatever. So yeah, but I would also love to know what it looks like. I mean, this is beautiful. The scene that they set here. I would love to know if there were any components of their wedding put in here.
Yeah, I just love the look of it. It's just like there's something about a TV wedding that you really focus on the lighting and how they were able to do that, and like the little candles, little votives with the flowers. It just looks so nice.
It does. It looks.
It all turned out well.
It turned out
Emily
beautifully. Yeah, she did. She could have eaten her salad. I love the little aside with Marilyn. I also love watching Marilyn during this moment because she keeps watching Luke and Lorelai.
Yeah, she does.
She's loving it.
But yeah, I like that this starts with a little convo between them.
Yeah. Have you ever considered being a gardener? He's like, I'm not very good at growing things. Well, that's the least important part of being a gardener. I'm like, I don't know about that. But
I don't know. It
in
seems
Marilyn's
like
world
too.
Yeah. Oh my God. But speaking of the way people look at people and the important part, when Lorelai walks down that aisle, the way that she and Luke look at each other is only trumped by the way that Richard looks at Emily as she walks down the aisle. Oh my God.
It's such a cute moment of them like regardless of what we have said about whether or not they actually should be getting back together, this moment is just like, oh, you guys are meant for each other and can overcome anything, and he just loves her so much and thinks she's so beautiful, and it's just such a good moment. I have a question for you though. Who do you think should have walked Emily down the aisle if there was someone to do so?
Great question. Simon McLean?
No. literally anyone else. Gypsy.
Gypsy's here.
Because I was like, this would have been a great episode to like be introduced in any way to Emily's family.
I know. I don't know. I kind of like that she walked herself down the aisle.
I know. I love it so much. But I was just thinking about that. It was like she was solo walking down. But I was like, maybe Richard should have walked her down the aisle.
That would have been very interesting. Very non-traditional, and I love it.
Yeah.
But I did want to say, I know that there has been discourse about this. I love Lorelai's look. I love it.
I love it too.
I think it looks so good. I know there are people who think it is so... like
the shrug,
like they don't love it. The blue dress I think a lot of people love, but the shrug they don't love. I love the whole thing. Give me the whole thing.
Yeah, it's so Lorelai.
It's so Lorelai. Like I'm not necessarily a fan of a shrug per se for myself, but I think it goes really nicely. I love the way that the costumers leaned into the metallics for both Lorelai and Emily. I just think it's stunning. No notes.
Cohesive.
It's one of my faves.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I feel like it differentiates Emily and Lorelai enough, because if they were both just wearing those metallic dresses, it would feel too planned. But having Lorelai have her own little touch to it, her little season 5 shrug era, I feel like it was necessary.
Totally.
But when she takes it off, it is a nice look. But I like it with it.
Yeah.
Very memorable. Yeah. Very iconic moment.
100%.
Both of them.
Yes. We get a little shot of Logan because Rory sees Logan sitting.
Bored as fuck, that man.
He looks like he'd rather be anywhere else
on the whole planet.
He looks so bored. And I almost wish
miserable
that he would have been looking at her.
See, if this was a romance novel, he would have been.
But it's like, why do you look so bored? Your girl is up there. Because she says to him later, and we can get to this later.
I have a lot of thoughts later.
Oh, I know you do. Like, you show up here with a friend, not a date.
Does he ever? Yeah.
So it's one of those things where, like, you know, I expected him to be actually looking at her. She's literally front and fucking center up there.
I know.
She's one of the co-stars of this show.
She is one of the co-stars, and you are a guest star.
Yeah.
Logan. Look at the star.
You're
Maybe
an extra.
It's like the sun and you can't look at it. You're an extra at this point.
Yeah.
You're not even in the title cards yet.
No.
Or is he? I actually think he might be.
I haven't watched the...
I forget.
I haven't watched it in a minute.
Yeah. I skipped it.
Yeah. But he does look really cute.
Yeah. He's more in his little brown suit. Do you think he had a brown suit on to like contradict, juxtapose against Rory's black suit?
I think it would have been really weird if they were match. I think it would have been
about that.
Very strange if they were twinning.
I kind of would have loved it. Would have been cute.
Just the two of them matching.
Yeah, but he looks like he just rolled out of bed. He looks
really
tired.
Does. He looks exhausted.
And
he's sitting next to a blonde who's very clearly with him.
Yeah, hand on his shoulder.
Hand on the shoulder.
This is Logan's shoulder.
Yeah.
Making little jokes.
Oh,
laughing,
yeah. Whispering,
asides.
laughing. Oh, my gosh. I know.
I would feel the same. The boy I was crushing on was laughing.
Yeah, he looks very, very cute. But anyway.
Love him.
One of my favorite parts that honestly I have never really noticed before is that when Emily walks down the aisle, Richard is looking at her like, oh my God, so fucking gorgeous.
An angel, yeah.
And when she finally gets up there and they're starting, the ceremony and the minister, ordained person who's standing up at the front is going to pastor, whoever he is.
He's known them for 20 years.
Yes. But as he's talking, he says something to the effect of, I choose you. And in that moment, the way that Lorelai and Luke are looking at each other is unmatched.
And I think the thing is like, of course, Lorelai is going to be making hard eyes at Luke at this wedding in this moment. But the fact that he is smiling and making them back, I was beside myself.
I know.
Like, that is so out of character for Luke, but it's so in character for Luke to love her.
Well, it's in character for him in this moment. I think this is before there is any doubt. The doubt has not set in, but the doubt has just walked in the building as this is happening.
No, this is a villain moment.
Oh, such a villain moment.
It felt like scary music should have been playing when Chris
I know.
walked in.
First of all, why the fucking hell are you late? Where have you been?
Why are you late? Well, he does have Gigi. I bet it's hard to do childcare with her. I don't know. Why did I make an excuse for this man? But he creeps in, and it's kind of like out of focus when he does. Mm-hmm. But then when he comes into focus over Luke's shoulder, I'm like, oh.
It's so good. It's
the villain has arrived.
Good the way that this is
really
done.
Good.
So they walk into the reception, and of course there was a gay joke. Classic Amy episode.
That's how you know.
That's how you know. There's also a Pulp Fiction reference, which we're about to get.
There is.
A little Pulp Fiction ourselves in
Pulp Friction.
Pulp Friction.
When they said Pulp Fiction, I was like, that's wrong. Just because I've watched
I
Pulp
always
Friction
think
so many times.
Pulp Friction. I'm like, which one is it? Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. But it's the sound of the horns when they walk in. The da-na-na-na-na-na.
Oh, God, I know.
And I was like, every time, I love it so much.
It's so good.
But when Luke's like, oh, there's going to be dancing, I'm like, what do you think we were doing here?
Yeah.
Just drinks and salads?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he's not used to weddings. Yeah, there's literally a live band. And that band looks so good. Whole brass band. Yeah. So good.
It makes me want that. Like, I want like one of those like call and response ones from like The Notebook, or I know you haven't seen Crazy Rich Asians, but when I was watching that, I was like, oh, that's what I want for my wedding.
Yeah.
Just like a fun band.
I know. Oh, you got to have a fun band. Very important.
Yeah.
It's true. I love that Lorelai.
Before you can get a band.
That's true. Got to find the man, then you can find the band.
Exactly.
But I love that Lorelai and Luke come up with what they call the introduction interference plan. And
yes,
it's very smart. 3 easy steps. Step 1, take a drink. Step 2, Luke introduces himself. Step 3, swallow and say hi. Hi, Mr. Glockenpfeffer.
Do you remember me? Lorelai. If you're watching on YouTube, I just demonstrated that. If anyone has never seen a sip before, I think I did a great one.
Yeah. Please head over to us at youtube.com/@Gilmore to say podcast.
YouTube.com. I don't know why, but one of my favorite things that you used to do, you don't do it anymore, but when you say www.youtube.com/Gilmore to say, this episode, timestamp some past the hour and a where Haley takes a sip.
Love when I would go to www.gilmoretosay.com.
It'd kill me. I'm like, okay, boomer.
Yeah, me and my boomer heart, my boomer spirit.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is when Aunt Totsy comes into play.
Yeah, she does.
She hugs you. You smell like her for a month.
I will say, it seems like she gives good hugs.
It does. She gives really nice hugs. But have you ever hugged someone and smelled like them for a month?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, not a month. But like I've hugged someone and then like had to change my shirt because
of it. Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
My friend Christina, who I work with in wardrobe, I've known her for, oh my gosh, almost 10 years now. She smells so good. And every time I hug her, I leave smelling like her. Love it. I'll take it.
See, sometimes it's good.
It's sometimes very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're getting totsied.
Yeah. I will say I did put on perfume for you all today.
I almost did as well, but my perfume's running low, so I didn't.
Oh.
I almost did though.
I just like didn't think about it. I was like, oh, I'm seeing people.
Gotta put the perfume on.
Yeah. But yeah, this is when we get Totsy, but this is also when we get Rory following a little bit too closely to Logan.
Yeah, she's stalking Logan a little too hard.
I just didn't understand why the floor was so empty. And she's just standing there by him herself,
standing
watching him walk by.
I know. He's at the bar.
He's gonna see you, girlie.
But this is one of my favorite things is that she's watching him at the bar. She turns around as he's about to turn around. Like the shot is done very beautifully. And
yeah,
again,
it's executed well. Yes.
Amy Sherman-Palladino at her best. And they follow him, they meaning the camera and Rory, follow him as he goes back to her seat. And you can hear the conversation that I love so much happening in the background where she hides behind this man who taught me everything I need to know about first cousins, second cousins, third, and so on. And once removed, twice removed. I love it. I had such an educational time here today between the French words and this man. I had a great time. I had a marvelous time.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
But we reference this man all the time whenever we're like, how are they related?
How are they related?
We'd have to ask him.
This guy. Okay. He's so, I love it. He is so fucking funny.
This actor is great too because he like the dialogue is like he's just sailing through it. It's very fast.
Oh yeah,
but
he's an expert.
He's telling a story and he never breaks. Great job, man.
No, great job, man. Man. But Rory keeps peeking behind him because she's trying to figure out what the relationship is between Logan and this girl, which seems very ambiguous at this point.
Yeah. You see a girl with a man and they're sitting very closely together at a wedding. You just assume they're probably together. You shouldn't assume. But if you have a crush on him and you're jealous as fuck, that's what you're going to assume. And that's what she is.
I would assume the same thing. But the scene cuts to the background where Lorelai and Luke are putting the introduction interference into practice with, Susan and Bruce and Susan. And it's going quite swimmingly. Marilyn's getting totsied and this is how I know that this is
totsied. Her arms go up. She does not hug back. She kind of like moves her arms about. And I was like, Marilyn, you just got to give into it.
It's true. But they did this really seamlessly. I love the way that they keep introducing Chris into the fold. Similarly to how they introduced him into the ceremony, Marilyn is getting totsied just as Chris comes into view. And Lorelai immediately turns around and is like, I have to tell you something.
Having a good time? And you're like, ooh, why did she reveal this right now?
There's so much happening here that I find very fascinating. Chris becomes a villain instantly.
So fast.
With Lorelai. And what I find really interesting about this like section of this episode, because we're about to see Chris and Lorelai and Luke interact, and then we're also about to see Rory and Christopher interact. Where did this premise and idea go that Chris was going to try and like undercut, or maybe unintentionally swoop into Lorelai's life and fuck everything up between her and Luke? Because this is something that Rory was very upset about, and it took her like a lot. It took his dad passing away the week like a couple weeks prior, for her to actually be like, okay, we need to be in his life. But now all of a sudden, everything you thought about has gone out the window. On the other side of this, Lorelai is like, my relationship with Christopher is completely innocent. And now all of a sudden, her relationship with Christopher is threatening. And it just feels like I almost wish that they had come up at this point. And if maybe she was a little bit like, oh shit, I never told him about this. But for her, it was very innocent. And when she's talking to him, he is the one who kind of like starts to put on something that's familiar to her, that she's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Something's happening here. But she doesn't even leave that room or opportunity. And I just find it to be such a stark difference between women of questionable morals and now. And I know that we as an audience know what Chris's intentions are here, but the girlies don't. So why is Lorelai treating him like a villain already? You know what I mean?
It's confusing because it feels like we missed something. Like there's and I don't know what it is, because it is a sudden flip, because we're like, why does Chris suddenly want to be with Lorelai again? Like this whole season, it's been like, I'm just here as your friend. He even said that. It's like, welcome friend, or come in friend.
Come in old friend. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just because his dad died. And that was like the extent of it. And you're right. Rory's whole thing was like, don't come in here and fuck shit up. And then it's a hard thing to have built up, though, I will say.
No, I agree. Because they do leave us. I love the cliffhanger they leave us with in Come Home. We talk about this in Come Home, that we were actually really disappointed with the execution of Come Home. We felt like they could have fleshed out a lot more in this episode with Rory and Logan. And honestly, now that we're watching this, we really could have fleshed out maybe a little bit more with Christopher, I suppose. But I will say that I liked the way that we left the end of the episode, where Emily just knocks on the door, gives him the invitation. She suddenly becomes a villain, turns Chris into a villain. I don't know why this turned into like a vampire situation. It's like she bites him.
He's a villain. He's so villainous in this episode.
He is.
And it's
but like
sudden.
It just happens out of nowhere. But I understand why they wanted to leave us on a cliffhanger for the episode. Like, they are setting up this episode really well. It's just that it didn't give us enough time, given what the narrative has been so far, to really believe that Christopher, at the drop of a hat, even though we see him as a villain, would just automatically be like, yeah, you know what? Fuck everything. I'm just going to blow all this up after I just mended my relationship with my daughter, who thought I was going to come in and do this, after, you know, Lorelai and I are finally in a good place, and I'm just going to come in and fuck everything up. I don't know.
Yeah.
As much as I don't love Chris, I don't know that was necessarily as believable. It's great for the plot.
Yeah, because I think if you're kind of just like watching it not as intensely as we are, I think it's great. But like to like really like find the foundation, his villain origin story for this episode, if you will, kind of isn't there. He kind of just is a villain, which is fine. Yeah. Sometimes that's just how the show moves along. But I think that like the origin of it is kind of hard to find. But as someone mentioned, she didn't know he was going to be there.
Oh, and I also wrote this down. How did she not know he was going to be there? She saw the seating chart.
Maybe he wasn't on it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she didn't think about it. Maybe she was also drunk, moving them around.
Yeah.
He was also near the table. So like, I don't know if maybe she didn't mess with her table, or
maybe, but I actually wonder how it would have been like, going back to that now. Instead of her mentioning Logan, I know that Rory sees Logan's name. I think it would have been fascinating if she was like, oh, Christopher's going to be there? Like, why is Christopher going to be there? I mean, I like the reveal of Christopher, so
yeah,
maybe
I
not.
love
Maybe I take that back.
The villainous reveal.
Oh,
like,
it's so good.
Kind of like, it's kind of worth it not to build it up just to see him sneak in like that. But Lorelai kind of shoots herself in the foot here. Like, as much as we can like say about like the rise of Christopher, if you will, this moment when she's like, okay, so I didn't tell you this, but I went over to Christopher's and we had tequila and nothing happened. And I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to be suspicious about it. But now I'm telling you about it because he might bring it up and you might be suspicious about it. And it's like,
do you think that she should have just let Christopher say something? Like, if he was like, I mean, I don't even know if he would have, but like.
Maybe, but I don't think so. I think that, first of all, she should have told him initially.
Well, she should have told him initially. I mean, that was 100%.
But I think dropping it in, because the way that Chris uses it later, that is, yeah, I'm like, yeah, good thing you mentioned it to him. But he's kind of blindsided by it. And so he's now in a state. He's kind of just accepts it. And it's like, cool, great, awesome. But with the Chris and Luke introduction here, he's like, I heard your coffee's legendary. You've been there.
That's what I said. I was like, they've definitely met before. 100%.
You've definitely had Luke's coffee before.
Yeah.
Like, so that was like a little weird aside.
Yeah.
Someone said Chris does not RSVP for anything, including his daughter's life. So,
Amanda. Yes. So Lorelai very awkwardly is like, okay, we're gonna go sit. Like, yeah, bye.
Well, you know what he says? He says, where's that kid of ours?
Yeah.
And it's like reminder of like, yeah, buddy, me and her. And I'm just like, no, skedaddle.
Scooch.
Because he, like, when they walk away, he does that like sip, like the villain look.
Oh,
that,
it's
like,
a big villain.
Everyone always takes that one picture and shares that.
Big villain energy.
Yeah.
Weird. But speaking of sips, as they go back to sit down, Rory is sitting there sipping on a cup of coffee.
Yeah, coffee cup number two.
Yeah, I love it.
Love it.
So as this is happening, Emily and Richard make their grand entrance for the first time this century.
I love that addition.
Richard Gilmore.
So cute.
I also love that when he sits her down and they have their moment and he's doing his little speech, he refers to Emily as his second wife.
So good.
My second wife, Emily. This moment is so gorgeous. I got so emotional watching him talk about this, tell the story about Lorelai and her getting the ear infections and, Emily having to take care of her, and that the only song that would calm her down was this song called Wedding Bell Blues. And that Richard was like, ugh, I can't stand the song because Emily was always saying, if only your name was, and if only your name was Bill, this would be our song. So for tonight and tonight only, my name is Bill. I was like, oh my God, I'm in tears. I literally was like,
even you just saying that, I had chills.
I know.
And before he started, when she like shot that kiss at him, it was just this whole moment is just like so perfect. Richard and Emily, like totally. This is just like that fluffy, like beautiful vibe you want from all of your favorite TV show, like romantic couples. And it's just like, that was just so perfect for tonight and tonight only. My name is Bill.
I love it. And I love that song. I will put that song on sometimes, like when I just want to feel good, because it always makes me feel good.
It's a good song to walk to. If
it is. Like, I put it on my walks. Yeah.
It's on like all my walking playlists. That one and You Never Can Tell, Chuck Berry. You know, that Richard Gilmore, he can pick a nice walk song.
He can pick a nice tune. It's true. Honestly, I think, when they're watching them dance and then like they, pan over to Chris and he is, villainously drinking.
What's his deal?
I know.
That's literally what I wrote here. I said, he's just drinking and drinking. And why? What's your deal, my dude?
But you know what? If Emily was really diabolical, she would have put them at the same table.
Yeah. I guess she like gave her that.
I guess so.
The table was already full. But yeah, I'm just like, why is he drinking like
he's
that?
Getting drunky. Oh my God. He's getting tanked.
And it's like tacky. Like, why? Like, are you really that like upset about this?
Yes, that's the thing, is that it just like turns so quickly. And I don't know if it was necessarily the move to have Chris come in and just be the villain. I wonder, I mean, it of course makes for a great episode, but I do wonder if we would have like believed it a little bit more and wouldn't have been so like, what the fuck is going on with Christopher? If like he had actually come in kind of with okay intentions, but as the night went on, then like
it was just like devolving into this like horrible realization that like this is not going to work. So he's just getting sloppier and sloppier in his attempts. I think that would make more sense because he just like he immediately comes in hot and then just gets
there's no build up. It's just like immediately in for the kill.
Yeah.
But as one of our besties points out here, he is playing like drunk and enraged very well in this episode. He does do a very good job. It's just that he does
that very well.
He attacks it very early on, and I guess I think I would have rather seen a little bit more of a build up. I don't know. Yes and no. I love the way the episode is. It's great.
I know. That's the thing.
I'm just critiquing it from
as we do.
As we do.
I kind of like. There's part of me that's like, if he went in with good intentions, but like, there's no way to go in with good intentions when Emily Gilmore told you to fuck up her daughter's relationship and that you're the one. Yeah. There's really no way to go about that, because if you agree, you're already the villain.
That's true.
If you're going in to break up her relationship, you're
already the villain.
Yeah, unless we liked you, in which case we would root for it.
But unfortunately, that is not true.
Jess and Dean, season 2.
I know. So Lorelai pulls Luke out onto the dance floor. I think it's a really sweet moment, because at first he's very reluctant, and she's like, I will dance just as spazzy as you. And he's like, I'm not spazzy. It's very cute. Yeah. Chris leaves.
And then when he finally agrees, he's like, I don't dance spazzy.
Yeah.
She says, very thank you.
And the way that she looks at him and he looks at, I know. The way that he looks at her, so sweet.
Yeah. But this is kind of a Chris and Rory parallel in this episode of them like pining after people in very different ways. Because I don't think Chris is pining. He is just reaching, and he's going to do whatever he can to get it.
Yeah, it's true.
And Rory seems to step up to the plate too.
But this is what really gets me about this, is given the journey, and I already talked about this we had this conversation about Rory and feeling like her disdain towards her father in this season kind of is a little out of nowhere. All of a sudden she's just like, don't talk to mom,
or
don't
she's
call
more
mom.
Vocal about it. Like it's just suddenly hitting her.
I suppose so, but it's just one of those things where like she's been very forgiving up until this point. Now that Christopher's in the picture again, all of a sudden she's like, no, don't talk to mom. She forgives him in a sense because he asks for forgiveness because his dad dies a couple episodes prior. And now all of a sudden it's like everything she ever thought about her dad coming in and messing things up is gone out the window, because when she follows him into the salon, I love that when they go in, those women are painting.
There. Yeah.
So funny. But when they go in and they're talking, and he like very randomly brings up like, you know, do you ever hear the story about how your mom and I first kissed? That would be the first fucking red flag, Rory. Like when he did come in with pure intentions, you were like, stay away from mom. And then when he comes in with very clearly bad intentions, you're like, oh no, tell
when
me
he comes in like a villain. You are literally just so blinded by like, Mr. Huntsberger that you can't see
I know. She's got Logan brain. It's like baby brain or bride brain. She's got Logan brain.
One of our trollops, Katie, made a really good point. Was I wish they would have leaned into Christopher spiraling because of losing his dad and losing Sherry. And so now he doesn't want to lose Lorelai. That would be really good.
Yes.
Like he's kind of going a little bit insane a little bit.
A little, yeah. Yeah, it's like opened up his perspective of like, I just lost my dad. I also just lost my wife, we think, fiance, whoever she may have been, my partner.
My Sherry.
You never know if my Sherry. His Brandy. Christopher's Brandy. Christopher Sherry.
Christopher Sherry.
I think that would have been much more fascinating.
Yeah,
I really do.
Maybe because it was just like all in for the principle of it, rather than like actually because he felt like he needed to be with her for the rest of his life.
Yeah, totally.
Interesting.
But he randomly brings up the first time that they kissed, and he explains that their first kiss was when they were 14. It was after school in the A&P parking lot, and Lorelai just kissed him. She just wanted to know what it would be like. And he says, that was the best day of my life.
You've had 2 babies since then.
Yeah. One of them is sitting right in front of you.
Yeah, neither of those trumped it.
But again, that's where with Rory, I'm like, hello, are you not listening to him? Why is he talking about this? Especially like at a wedding, Luke and Lorelai are inside. Like, yes, they're very obviously together, but are you not seeing the writing on the wall? No, she's so fixated on the fact she's like, oh, so like you liked that she kissed you? Should I go kiss Logan?
Should I go kiss Logan?
Fuck. Rory.
We can't blame her too much. She's got her own storyline afloat here. But like, yeah,
I blame her a little.
Kind of shifted. I mean, look, we can fully blame Emily and Chris here. We don't have like Rory playing goalie for her emotions is a bit too much.
Totally.
To ask of her.
It's just like when she was already kind of stepping up for her mom throughout this season, when it came to Christopher, in a way that did feel kind of like unnecessary, and now all of a sudden it's just like, no, everything's fine. La 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 la.
But she's always the one that has to be there, as Lanny said. She has to pick up the pieces.
Yeah. That's true.
It's a cute scene. It's a nice little scene between the two of them.
I know why they do it. Yeah, for sure.
Because it's less about Christopher and it's really about empowering Rory to take on this moment and approach Logan and ask him to dance.
100%.
But like when he says, "Who wouldn't want to kiss a Gilmore girl?"
I know.
It's just like a cute little moment of them like feeling reconnected and getting her out there to have this like really cute scene that's about to happen.
Of course. We love it.
But yeah,
love to see it.
Villain energy.
Big villain energy. He's going to drink even more. So we cut back to the reception and Luke is a little spazzy, but honestly doing great. I love watching the two of them dance. It's a lot of fun.
I know. But you know what I don't realize, we can talk about it when we get to Rory and Logan dancing, is that like Luke and Lorelai leave a lot of space between them when they're dancing. Like there's a significant space, but when Rory and Logan start dancing, magnets.
Oh yeah.
Right next to each other. And maybe that's just how indicative that they're very attracted to each other, a la magnets. But there's room for a skinny Jesus between Luke and Lorelai when they're dancing.
Skinny. Yeah. Skinny Jesus.
Skinny, thin.
But I love the way they segue into this scene. Again, you can tell it's an Amy episode because it's a lot of like the scene, like the one shots where then like someone comes in the background and changes the scene by taking us with them through the blocking, which I think is really beautiful. Yeah,
because they're dancing because she keeps lying that Marilyn's behind him and going to swoop in.
No, that Totsy's behind him.
Oh, well, no, Marilyn. That Marilyn's going to swoop in and make him dance with her.
Dance.
But then,
yeah, you're right.
But then I like, because at first I was like, oh, I don't remember Lorelai and Luke on the floor when Logan and Rory are. And then Totsy comes in and it takes him right out of the scene. And I was like, perfect, gorgeous.
Well, yeah, that's not before, though, Moon River starts playing and Rory walks up to Logan. And when Moon River starts playing, I love that Luke goes, oh, go to slow song, lowers the spaz quotient.
My whole body stopped working when Moon River came on, though, because I literally just wrote Moon River with about 40 exclamation points afterwards.
So good. Yeah. So she marches right up to Logan. He's sitting at a table. And she goes, so where's the blonde? Oh, she's pretty. And he's like, listen, she's just a friend. Which I find very fascinating that, you know, it's very clear the energy that's being insinuated as soon as she walks up. But I find it funny that Rory had to approach him at this wedding, that he didn't approach her once until this point.
Yeah, maybe he was building himself up to it. He had to drink as much as Chris did to have a conversation.
Yeah.
No, but I think as we go on to this, like, I mean, they're friends. So the fact that he would go up to her or not go up to her does not have any bearing on whether or not he finds her attractive or wants to date her. Like, he likes chatting with her. So I think he would have found her eventually.
Yeah.
But and like he went. He didn't have to go to this wedding of his parents' friends. He went for Rory.
Yeah.
Of course. Like, and he brought a friend, not a date, as she says. But after this awkward conversation, she asks him to dance.
Yeah.
And so he goes to dance with her. And I died a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I pulled myself together. But this is when Luke and Lorelai leave the dance floor because Totsy's coming.
And Lorelai catches the two of them. She's like looking at them as they walk
She's
towards
intrigued.
the dance floor. She's intrigued.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, are you going to ever ask me out? You do like me, right? And it's this interesting thing of like, Logan is like oddly very like both protective of her and himself because he likes her and he thinks that she's like very beautiful and interesting and very smart, but he doesn't want to get into it because it would be something. And he doesn't want to, it like felt like he's like, I don't want to get into that for the sake of me, but also I don't want to lead you on in any way. And I just felt like that was like, he's fighting her on this, but it feels like he's fighting her at a certain point for her, like on her behalf. And she's like, I just want to have stringless fun. And he's like, you say that now. And he
pegs her very early on. Like everything he's saying is true. Everything.
Yeah. And he says that she's a girlfriend girl. It'd be something right away. And she's like, I just had something and I don't want to do that again. But he gets her so clearly. And I think because he saw Dean, like he saw the way that ended. He knows that you were just in something. But I think at first it starts off as like, yeah, I don't really date. Like, this isn't for me. But as it goes on, she's like, pestering is the wrong word, but she keeps pushing him on it.
Yeah.
Almost like convincing him. And he's fighting on her behalf. Yeah. He was like, it seems like I know you. I see this. Like, I don't want to get into this. Like, I might ruin you. Is kind of where it seems like he's going with that.
Yeah. Which I respect, you know, he was very upfront with her about what he was able to offer her and about what he felt like she wanted, not to put words in her mouth. But, you know, I respect him a lot for being like, look, you know, I have thought about asking you out, but I know it would
several
be something.
times, which is what makes me like retroactively go back to come home and be like, he was going to ask her.
Yeah.
To New York.
Yeah. But I appreciate that he was like, I think you're special. You like, stop eating the paste special. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Very Amy. And he's basically saying, you know, you are special. Like, you are rare. And I'm not in a position to date someone where I would be able to take care of this very rare, very special thing. And I think that it takes a lot of self-awareness to be able to own that, and a lot of integrity. And I know that there are a lot of people out there who don't necessarily feel like Logan has a lot of integrity, but I do think in this moment he really does, personally.
Yeah, the thing is like, he says what he means, and he's not leading her on. He's like very clearly spelling out what this would be like, and he very clearly predicts the future of how this unfolds.
Everything he says, I was like, oh, this is exactly what happens in But I'm a Gilmore.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
and
exactly
Dana
what
said,
happens.
do you think that Rory believes what she's saying? I think she wants to believe what she's saying.
I think in the moment, yeah, she does. I think that she wants something different than what she has had. This girl has never not had a boyfriend. Like, yes, in college, I just mean to say, like, when she was quote unquote dating, outside of that one date she went on with the Urinman's guy, she has always been in relationships. She wants something new and different. It's not working. And like, going back to something safe, familiar, comfortable only felt good for as long as it did. It had an expiration date to it, especially because of the person she chose to be with and the circumstances surrounding her being with that person, Dean, the marriage crumbling, the cheating, etc. And I feel like Logan is the first person in a long time outside of Jess who is manic and like ended last season kind of spooking her almost into being with Dean. I think that Logan is the first person in a long time to push her out of her comfort zone in a way that she's unfamiliar with. And I think that that's exciting to her. So I do think that she believed what she was saying. I really do. I think she was like, no, I want to have fun. I like you and I want to get to know you. And it's okay that it's not going to be something. There are definitely moments where I have been with guys, and I am also a girlfriend girl. Like, I have boyfriends, not escorts, as Rory Gilmore says in But I'm a Gilmore. Yeah. But I am also someone who has in the past been like, I just want to, like, I don't know, go out with you and see where this goes. Yeah, I might get hurt, but at the same time, like,
I'm making that choice for me. And
I'm making that choice.
Yeah. And Logan, he like totally nails her. And I really think that she just needs like a little pep talk. And someone said it's kind of like a new jump, that like she can be convinced to get to these places. And I think the fact that she kind of got there on her own is interesting, that she's like willing to step outside of where she has been, outside of her comfort zone, to do this. With this guy that she finds attractive, who she was like, you do like me, right? And he's just kind of like, oh, like he's just staring at her. And I would feel the same. But as she's pulling away, he's not letting her. Like, he's not letting her go. And I'm just like, as I was watching that, I was like, how would this be described in a romance novel? I'd be crying, of course, naturally. But it's such a good moment. And there's this like flip when he kind of accepts it and he sees her. And I think that he kind of, maybe this is me like retroactively like reading fan fiction right now, is like, I think he sees in her that he kind of did this, where like he wanted her to like jump up, like just do something different, something bad for you, just something different, you know, something fun. And he was the one that said that. And now she's wanting to do it with him again. And so I think that there's that element of it that like,
interesting. I never thought of it that way, that he's something fun, something a little bad for you.
Something stupid, something bad for you, just something different. Since the point of being young, it's your choice, Ace. You can live 100 years. They'll really live for a minute. You go in this back room with me. It's one less minute you haven't lived.
Yeah. But he's not convincing her at this point. This is just something that like really enticed her, intrigued her in a way that I don't think she's been. Well, again, I think you could make the argument for Jess Mariano, but in a very different way.
Yeah. But yeah, so she grabs the champagne. Come in, Huntsberger? Or like live in the moment, Huntsberger. And then she's like, you coming? I just did that, and now you're like, I like that she's nervous and that like she's going out there doing this thing. It's cute.
Yeah. Very, very pushing the boundaries of Rory Gilmore. And in a way that we can respect and appreciate, not in a way where she's sleeping with somebody else's husband.
Yeah. This is innocent in a different way. But in that, like, everyone is innocent. Everyone is single. This is all above board. But I love when he says Rory. And she said, you call me Rory.
Call me Rory.
I want to be clear.
I know.
But then when he says it a second time, he's like, Rory. And it's like, she's breaking him down. He's getting there.
He's getting there.
And then they go back into the little back room.
They sure do. Champagne and kissing.
Yeah. And like,
I feel like I'm kissing a guy.
He ruins it.
I know.
He ruins that kiss.
I know.
Because she says, I just want to know what it'd be like. And then she kisses him.
I don't love their first kiss, admittedly.
Me neither.
It's a little awkward, which is weird. Cute. Like, you know, but it's
awkward. Yeah.
It's awkward in a weird way.
Yeah.
Because they end up having so much chemistry. And like this first kiss is a little uncomfy.
I know. When it's I feel like I'm kissing a guy. And apparently I had no idea what I was missing. It's just like he ruins it with his talking. Just kiss her.
I will also say that just like her kissing him, which I know was the whole point, was that she was going to kiss him, also feels like a little clunky, you know? But I will say that it didn't feel clunky when she kissed Jess. When she kissed him at that pond.
Yeah. It just the way that happened. But I do wish it was, I like that it was awkward. But I wish that Logan wouldn't have said what he said. And then when they like kiss for the second time, I kind of wish we would have held on that for a second. And like Logan kind of would have taken over just for, you know, she did what she came to do. She kissed him first. But then I wish that he would have come into it a little bit more slowly. Yeah. A little more like sensualness to the scene if that is the direction that this relationship between them is going to go. Because it was a little fast.
Yeah.
It's a little unsatisfying.
Totally.
As far as kisses go.
Katrina just said it's too chatty like Luke and Lorelai's first kiss, which, you know, we famously, of course, love that Luke and Lorelai kiss in that moment. But there are the part that kind of ruins it a little bit for me is when she says, will you just stand still? And it's like, I wish that we could have let that moment sit similarly to what you're saying. It's interesting because I just love the parallel of Christopher encouraging Rory inadvertently, you know, to take that plunge. And Rory ends up becoming, in a sense, Logan's Lorelai to what Christopher, you know, how Christopher sees Lorelai in this story in this world that Amy has built. That, you know, her brazenness and just the way that she impacts Logan's life, I think like she will be the love of his life forever in the same way that Lorelai is the love of Christopher's life forever, even though they don't end up together.
And this kiss does not feel like it's going to be the best day of Logan's life. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what I was hoping for. That, like, she says, I just wanted to know what it'd be like. And it happens. And he says this, honestly, one of the worst lines. Like, it's just terrible, like, what happens here. That, like, couldn't have left it with, like, a me too or, like something easy, something simple, almost nothing. Like, I don't know. Just ignored it.
Yeah.
And it could have been a slower, just
it doesn't feel like the build up to like the romance of like both of their young adult lives. I know. Yeah. But
their adult lives, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's true. They're adult lives. But anyway, so they're making out. We cut back to the reception. A little clink clink, a little kiss for.
Wait, I wrote down, can you have people do that at my wedding?
Sure.
Clink, 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 clink,
clink. A little clink, clink, clink. A little kiss,
yes, that's on your to-do list. Write it down.
All right, I will. Lorelai comes and sits down and she realizes that Luke got totsied. Poor thing. He got totsied. Sad.
She left him.
He's like, I didn't know what to do. I couldn't escape. What was he going to do? I get it.
What was he going to do? Not be rude. Luke wouldn't be rude.
No, he's not like
Unlike the monster comes and sits down at their table.
takes a seat, starts reminiscing, and like, you got Totsied. I'm like, Chris, shut the fuck up. Get away from us.
And this is like immediately how you try to alienate someone, is by being like, I've known them longer, and here is an example of how long, like of something that happened.
You know those parody videos that a lot of girls do on TikTok of like pick me girls?
Yeah.
When they go up and they're like, oh my God, Jason. Hi, Jason. Oh my God. Did he tell you about the time that we were in the pool?
Yeah.
This is Christopher.
Yeah.
Fully. She ever tell you about the time that we blah, blah, blah? Remember the time that we did this? And she's like, not really.
She's like, no.
I don't want to talk about it.
No.
And Luke looks
and
so
he was like, you know, we had lunch at
the
the inn last month. And he's like, I know. How's the inn? The inn's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And this gets interrupted. This wonderful conversation of catching up of three pals who just adore each other.
3 old pals, yeah.
Unfortunately has to stop because they want a picture of the wedding party. So Marilyn asks her to go find Rory, who went off with that darling blonde boy. And she's forgiven him for not noticing that she was talking with him earlier.
I loved that. I love that she preemptively forgives Rory for not realizing that they were talking sooner.
Yeah. Fair.
So Lorelai goes to find her. She had dibs. And Babette had dibs, so.
Yeah.
So Lorelai goes to find Rory. Luke follows, and he kind of tries to start having a conversation with her because he's starting to feel really uncomfortable. I think he's past feeling uncomfortable. Christopher also follows.
He's overwhelmed.
Yeah. I would feel the same way. You know, he doesn't know what to do here. Lorelai opens the door to see Logan and Rory half, you know, lots of their clothes are coming up. Just unbuttoned. It's actually like kind of tasteful. Good for them.
Yeah.
I love when she says, Grandma wants a picture of this.
Of this?
That's also a promo.
Yeah.
Of this?
Love it.
So good.
But when she says, God, Rory, I swear, why? Why is she like this? Like, she's just making out with someone in the back closet. Yeah. Like, what's the deal? I mean, it is her grandparents' vow renewal. I get it. But like, she's just upset, and I think she's just kind of taking out on Rory here because
I think that under normal circumstances, I think she would have like closed the door and been like, "Okay, you need to put your clothes on right now. We
gotta go. Grandma does want a picture, but not like this.
Yeah,
like, bye, Logan.
Bye, Logan. Like, I just feel like she would have been cooler in that moment, but I think she was very frustrated with Christopher. She hears like
pressure with herself.
You know, he hears Rory's name. He comes to the Rory's in there. What are you doing with my daughter? Get your daughter. Raza.
Okay, Brett.
Raza.
And then Luke comes in saying he's going to kill him.
Oh, he's going to kill him. Oh my God, it's so cute.
Paws off.
Paws off. Hands in the air. I want to see hands in
the air.
So good. Everyone gets mad. And Logan, when Luke comes in, Logan's face is fucking priceless. He's like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, how many dads does this woman have? It's
Mamma
so
mia.
funny. Yeah.
Papa Pia.
Papa Pia. Yeah, this is when the Papa Pia enters the chat.
In a while.
So
Lorelai closes the door, she's like, get out.
Yeah. This is kind of what she should have done from the beginning. You must be Logan.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. I'm Lorelai.
Yeah.
He's like, I should probably.
Yeah. She always has very interesting meetings with the guys that Rory's involved with. I feel like with Dean, it's, you know.
How did she meet Dean?
She met him at the market, but after they kissed. So like the introduction to Dean was kind of like interesting. And she was like trying to be really cool. It's always about her trying to be really cool. Like she invites him over. She's trying to be cool mom. And then she's trying to be cool with Jess. That backfires. Now she's kind of trying to be cool here. And it's definitely awkward and uncomfy. Understandably so. Yeah. He just wanted to make out.
He just wanted to make out.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's just what you want to do.
And also, Rory was the one who actually wanted to make out. And he was the one who was like, maybe we shouldn't do this.
She's left him in here alone.
I know. Crazy. Anyway.
When she's like, but Dad, Luke. I'm like, Rory, go. Can you not see this is not a good situation?
Out. Yeah.
She does clean up nicely later when they take the picture, I will say.
She does. It's true.
But this is the where were you rant.
When which I love.
Where were you when she only ate mashed potatoes for a week? When she graduated high school? When she moved into college? When I brought the mattress into her dorm, then back out of her dorm, and then back into her dorm?
Yeah. Honestly, I'd like to know myself.
Actually, that wasn't rhetorical. We need to know.
We need to know.
Tell us where you were.
This fight is so bad, and it looks so bad for Lorelai because, you know, I always wondered, like, why does Luke get so upset? Because he doesn't even give Lorelai a chance here to talk about this, and it's clear that it was like Christopher, Emily, he's saying,
yeah,
you know, I'm with Lorelai for now. Like, Emily knows it.
He's like, what does that mean?
Knows it. And he's like,
because he says, Emily told me it wasn't too late. And that's when Luke's like, wait, Lorelai.
Yeah.
The person that you hate the most and would never take advice nor like anything they say to be fact. That they said that must be true.
Totally.
Like and the same with Chris is like, Emily said this to you. Why did you not call Lorelai?
I hear that 100%. But I do think it looks bad in the sense that I think Luke is coming off of hearing that Lorelai just spent the night with this guy and didn't tell him. And everything, for the most part, should be copacetic. If what she's saying is true, which from her perspective, it's very innocent.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that she lied to him about it. And now he's hearing from this man, like, there's still a chance. Like, you know, like, we're supposed to be together. And so he's probably looking around. Like, if that were me, I would think, like, have you guys had this conversation before? Has he said this to you? Did you know that he felt this way? He doesn't give her the chance to answer those questions, which I think is unfair. But I upon watching it in this context, I did really understand why Luke was kind of like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, because I wrote down, I understand why Luke is overwhelmed, but I think he's reacting to the wrong moment. Of like,
I agree.
I kind of wish he would have been like, Emily told you that. Emily told you that the two of you belong together. Like, that's rich. Like, and I just feel like maybe he didn't have it in him. He's kind of tapped out, overstimulated by all of this, overwhelmed. Like, he's gotten this new information that just really put him in a bad place. Mm-hmm. So I understand why he wants to leave. And like, this is too much for him. But I just think it was like zeroing in on the Emily of it all. Just like the three of them, like none of them take stock in what Emily says. So like, these are like the last three people that you should like have a scheme that Emily has concocted as like Bible.
Totally.
So that's my only thing.
No, I'm with you 100%.
Because if I take out that like kind of like nuance to it, I totally get why Luke has like landed in this spot, because
I do too.
He just found out she lied to him and went drinking with this man, and now he thinks that they're going to be together. Like, but
I would like, if this was, you know, and Brett and I have been together for almost 3 years. Like, we're not in this place. They're still fresh, you know, for all intents and purposes. Luke and Lorelai have been dating for 6 to 9 months. Like, it's still pretty early on in their relationship. However, it's a relationship that has been blooming for years. Like, this is not just someone you just casually started dating. This isn't Nicole.
Yeah.
This is a woman who, like, you literally just the two of you hours ago looked at each other when the minister was saying, I choose you, and we're fucking making googly eyes at each other. Like, this is the person this is the person that, like, I think you guys want to be together. And subsequently, I would then, if I heard this, I would like look at Brett and pull him to the side and be like, what are they talking about? I need you to tell me what's going on. Rather than like, I mean, maybe I would storm off in the sense that I'd be like, I need to fucking breathe. But I wouldn't not give my partner the opportunity to tell me what's going on. Yeah. I would want I would need clarity.
I couldn't walk away from something like that. No. I would like need someone to give me some more details. But I do like what someone says here is that Kinsey, I think Luke thought the Gilmores would tolerate him, not like him, but tolerate their relationship. So to learn that Emily would actively try and break them up was just too much for him, which I can agree with.
Yeah.
That even if it wasn't like Emily said, it's like, oh, she does not accept our relationship. But I still don't think that Luke would take it's more of Luke's reaction after this. I think that Luke would get very overwhelmed and be like, listen, I gotta go. And that just seems like Luke to kind of take off. And then maybe talk about it later. It's kind of like what I'm anticipating his say something, or like in the next episode, just let's say something, right? Mm-hmm. In the next episode, kind of like how he's like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
At the market. It's like, that's kind of where I'm like, meh. But I understand right now. Kind of like
no, in the
preemptively.
moment he's very overwhelmed, but I really wish that he would have given her an opportunity to speak. I know he feels betrayed. I know he feels like the trust isn't there right now, but you know, this all around is just sad.
And she could have prevented it. She would have been like, hey, we went drinking. And then when he arrives, he'd be like, oh, here's Christopher.
Yeah.
And then he wouldn't have had such room to grow so villainous.
I know.
Unfortunate. But we're almost to the end.
Luke leaves. Lorelai chases after him. Chris chases after
her.
Feels pretty apropos for the rest of the series. And I love that when she's looking for him and he's like, hold on, I didn't want that to happen that way. Like, what fucking way did you want it to happen? He's like, I was hoping to get you privately. Clearly not. But I love that she goes, get away from me, Christopher. Get some coffee, Christopher. Oh my God.
And delivered to our coffee count, Christopher.
So gorgeously. Like, I felt that in my soul when she was like, get the fuck away from me.
That's exactly that was the context version of fuck off.
Yeah.
But I just love okay. Marilyn comes and finds her. She gotta go take this picture. Rory,
she says,
looking stunning as ever.
I love the way Marilyn says this though. She says, you cannot keep a room full of Anglo-Saxons waiting for cake this long. They start to form more clubs.
More clubs. She's just chatting. So she's just saying words.
Oh my God, she is hilarious. Yeah. I love her in this episode.
But Rory's cleaned up so nice. Great job. Like she really recovered from that quite well. And then the photographer's counting down for the picture. Lorelai looks at Emily and says, you and me, we're done.
Ooh.
And then the Emily kind of like starting to look back sort of moment. And then executive producer.
It is so delicious.
Such a good ending.
I loved it.
Like
this episode, top fucking notch.
It's so good. And like, I will say, all of the critiques we had about like where like the origin or like the foundation of various storylines actually exists. That's what we're here to do. This episode is so good.
So
like
well
one
structured.
Of the best episodes.
I'm going to say this proudly. I think this is the best episode of Gilmore Girls.
Yeah. It just incorporates so many perfect elements about this. We get Rory and Lorelai alone time. We've got them doing their movie marathon, which gets interrupted by accidental townies event that Emily has infiltrated.
I know.
We get sentimental Emily and Richard. We get some cutie moments between Luke and Lorelai.
Yeah.
We have Chris, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
We have Rory like stepping out of her comfort zone, like kind of like growing in this episode. We've got Logan Huntsberger. I mean, come on. We got him. And it just feels like all of these like elements in this like very pressure cooker scenario that just Vesuvius is explodes like a it just Vesuvius.
Vesuva.
It's too late. Vesuvius.
Vesuva. I was like, is this French? It's Vesuvius, you ding dong. Oh my God. No, it's
never better.
Honestly a phenomenal episode.
Yeah.
From top to tail, it is so unbelievably good. And I love it. I mean, 5 stars, 5 out of 5. No
5
notes.
stars, yeah.
No
We've never
notes.
given anything sort of stars, so this is new for us too.
No, 5 out of 5 stars.
Patreon episode. 5 out of 5 stars. Wow, we should have been doing that this whole time. Yeah, I think these are like filled in stars. These are not hollow stars. These are like
you're right.
Sturdy, like filled in stars. Yeah. Wow, we should have been doing that the whole time.
We really should have.
We can start now.
There's no better. I was gonna say
no time like the present.
We've gotten through the first 100 episodes. Now we can start a new trend. But man,
53 more.
So good. Oh, I love it. I love this
episode.
episode.
Can you believe we've done 100 episodes? I mean, we have had we do have Gilmore to consider Vicious Trollops only. We did some Gilmore to consider during the strike. We had some other types of episodes during the strike.
Yeah.
So we have had more than 100 episodes, but we have 53 more to cover. Like,
I know.
It's so crazy.
I know.
Like, I cannot believe we've done this 100 times.
I know. I can.
I feel, I feel like it.
Yeah.
I feel like we've come so far, because I feel like we tried out a couple different methods to do this. Like in the beginning we were like worried it would feel stale, but I think we just got into like such a groove of talking about it and like trading off scenes that we just kind of like naturally have like found such a easy way to do these. That kind of feel like effortless.
I know.
And we hope that y'all enjoy them as much as we do.
Oh, we have so much fun doing this. I always like to remember to enjoy. Oh my God, doing it live is so much fun. I also like really try to remember every time we do this to like bask in it, because it's the only time we're going to cover these episodes. You know what I mean? And there's just something I know there's something very emotional about that it's like, we're going to cover this episode and we're never, at least that I know of, we're not going to revisit it together again, you know? So it's very,
until we do Gilmore Revisited.
Oh, right.
Our episodes.
Honestly, not a bad idea, because I'm sure we're going to have different thoughts.
Yeah,
as time goes
100%. On. I'm sure there's we could probably pick any episode, go back to it, and have completely different thoughts, which we actually did do that in last fall during the strike. We revisited some of our episodes.
We did.
Now that I'm remembering that.
Yes, Gilmore Revisited.
Yeah, which if you are a super cool party person, you have access to those super cool party people and Vicious Trollops.
Yeah.
Because this is Gilmore Revisited. That was Gilmore Revisited.
Yeah, if you're not with us on Patreon and you want more Gilmore Revisited episodes, you can join us at patreon.com, www.patreon.com/Gilmore to say. We have a lot of fun.
Anyways, the Vicious Trollops, if you want to be a part of the live recording like we're doing now, they're in the chat. They make us laugh the whole time. Everyone has little moments, little fun lines that everyone points out. Also very thoughtful things that they say, or things that we don't know, like a bottle episode. Thanks, Chad. Y'all saved the day.
Yeah, honestly.
And I just love doing it so much.
So much fun.
Tons of different things you can get in the various tiers. So go and check it out. But before we go, what was the coffee count?
Oh, the coffee count was 2. It brings us to 44 cups of coffee, and we're barely halfway through the season. So
wow, we are halfway.
Yeah, you're right. There's 22 episodes, so I guess we're over halfway at this point. But still, I mean, that's a really good coffee cup count.
Yeah,
we had 47 total at the end of last season. There was not a lot of coffee to be had during season 4, but so far,
Norman Mailer.
I know Norman Mailer. We had 16 cups of coffee.
How do you feel about Norman Mailer versus this one?
I mean,
Norman Mailer has been our top.
Norman Mailer is a great episode. So far, Norman Mailer has been our unexpected favorite episode. But I think that right now I would rank this episode, Wedding Bell Blues, and then Norman Mailer right underneath it. It's so good.
These are top tier episodes.
These are top tier.
We've got some good episodes coming up.
Oh my God. Jews and Chinese food, Pulp Friction. Oh my God. We have
so good talk.
Yeah. Yeah. We have
Stars Born Kiss.
Really, really good episodes. But before we get there, next episode is Say Something. This one's going to break my heart. This is a really hard one for me to watch, but I am excited to get into it.
If you're not joining us on Patreon, the next episode of Gilmore to Say is going to be a Gilmore to Consider.
And we'll have more to say on that in the next episode.